I'm Steven.
And I'm Chris. And today we're going to make an MP5. Let's do this real quick.
That was right on.
No, but really, I need to make something today. And more importantly, I need to make a video on how to make it. And we're going to do it. So you're going to get a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what I do. I've done this before and I feel like it worked out pretty well. Now I just want to make this out of pretty much 1 to 2 2x4s, and I'm going to make this a little bit shorter than what it would actually be, just because my kids are going to be using this and it doesn't need to be that big. Now if I compare this to a previous build, I want the width of it to be about 1 inch or so. I mean, my kids are going to be using this, so I don't want stuff to be too thick. I want it to be pretty comfortable for them, and it just makes it a little bit easier to make the whole build. If you think about the gun more as a silhouette and just adding a few points of detail, the build's going to go a lot easier, and that's my goal here, is to make this real quick. So we need to take this 2x4 and shave it down to about 1 inch thick. This is my least favorite part. It's the most dangerous part. I don't necessarily recommend it. Go ahead and set the height of your table saw blade. Now I did make a custom jig or holder or whatever you want to call it to make this process a little bit easier for me, but it's still extremely dangerous, and this is my least favorite part of the build. If anybody has a better idea on how to do this, please let me know. Cutting this 2x4 down to the width that I need it is my least favorite part of this build. I absolutely hate it. I wish there was a better way. I mean, my best suggestion is to raise the blade up just a little bit and make a pass, raise it up a little more, make another pass, a little more, make another pass. It puts a lot of work on the table saw, especially this is just a normal table saw. I hate it. I hate to have to cut this thing up, but I need to cut this up so I can figure out what pieces are gonna go on which 2x4. It's going to be a couple different segments that fit together. Once you have all your cardboard or poster board or whatever you're using cut out, you can go ahead and start placing it on the wood that you're going to be using. Adjust for anything that you want. Avoid any imperfections in the wood, and start tracing it and cutting it out. After I've traced most of the lines, I want to go ahead and use my jigsaw to cut the rest of it out. I'm not gonna lie, making these guns is a lot of work. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Making the pistols is a little bit easier. Now it's time for a ton of sanding, just to fit all these pieces together and really get them to kind of fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. Lots of sanding and finishing work. You also want to think about where you're going to have the trigger. And really, just for these triggers, I just make a big opening. I don't really put a trigger in there. I mean, it's for pretend anyways, you know? I'm going to be honest with you. This trigger well isn't quite large enough compared to the BB gun. But you know what? I'm tired, and this is for my kids, so it could be a little bit smaller. Otherwise, I got to go and take a fresh 2x4, cut it all down to this exact thickness, and make it that way. And I'm gonna modify it. There's nothing wrong with modifying it. Same thing with the buttstock. I made it a little smaller. Nothing wrong with modifying it. Alright, with the holes drilled in these, I could take this over to the scroll saw and finish it up. At some point you'll get this nice and sanded, for the most part, each individual piece sanded, and it'll start coming together and you'll feel like you can start gluing. Well, you can start gluing it, and then once big pieces are glued together, you can do a nice final sanding on it, and everything will come together pretty good. Now is a real good time to, while this stuff is gluing, to really make some nice detailed work on this thing. I mean, you know, the little selection switch between fire, not fire, fully automatic, all that stuff. Any little details you want to add to this, now would be a good time to do it. Let's see what I can do. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna be completely honest. Building these guns, it's hard. You need a full day, you need a weekend. You know, a full day work to really, there's a lot of sanding, cutting it with the table saw to begin with to get the wood down to the width you want is kind of a pain in the butt. A better suggestion would probably go to the hardware store, see what you can find that's already that width, and go with that. That would be the easiest way. I'm just trying to use up some scrap wood to really see if these ideas would work and you can actually make something out of it. Well, I'm happy you guys made it this far to the end of the vlog. Pretty much the end of the vlog. I know it was kind of a different vlog. This build for this MP5 actually took a really long time. I definitely recommend trying to make, you know, a pistol, kind of like a Glock. But that build took a really long time to do. I'm beat. It is late. I mean, it's like late, dark outside, crickets are chirping. It's late. I'm not gonna lie, like I said before, these guns, they're a little bit difficult to build. If you can go to the store, like I said, and find wood this thickness, that's the biggest battle, really is. And then it's just cutting everything out, finishing it, and you're gonna be sanding like crazy. Be prepared to sand like crazy.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Chris. And today, we're gonna make an MP5. Let's do this real quick.
Oh, I want to say this 2 times.
Okay, do it again.